All right. So I just uh, came back here to park. Uh, sorry, just came back here to park. I usually park where that person is, far away from this fire hydrant back there. You can see it. And for the last occasionally now, when I've come back here to park, there's been someone who is perfectly positioned to my left. So when you get out of your car, you look to your left, you open your door, and someone is using a distraction. Someone is trying to get me to stare between the legs, get me used to seeing somebody on those steps with their legs open. Now, for I've lived here for about 3 or 4 years, and I've never seen people sitting on those stairs until recently when I started parking here. I walk around. Someone just said in my ears, well, then how would you know that no one sits on those stairs? Well, I walk in this neighborhood all the time. And when I walk, I never see somebody sitting there. When I park, I've noticed that right as I'm about to park, there's somebody sitting there with their legs open. So everything I just said was a distraction. The person sitting there and the other people that were sitting there, like the woman who sat were a little bit higher up there with her legs wide open for about 10 to 20 seconds, was grooming me to expect to see somebody with their legs open on these stairs. Now they're teaching this group of people think they can teach experiences, like a routine experiences for one individual to expect to see, and then to get him used to staring at crotches, get him used to expecting to see crotches. It's like a psychological community grooming. So stare at people's crotches. And I think gay people like to force people to stare at their crotch. I think they enjoy it. They like to expose, like raising their bulges. So a person I went to interview with stared at me in my face, sat back in his chair, and then raised his crotch into the air. And his crotch has a big bulge. And while he thrusted his crotch into the air, he stared at my face like there was something in my face that would make people like what I was supposed to show him while he thrusted his crotch into the air. But that didn't happen. So he then turned his expression towards stupidity, or like a back knowledge that there's something deeper beneath the surface, something deeper within my mentality. Well, something in my mentality he knew should have exposed itself to his crotch in the air, which there wasn't. There is I'm telling on you for sexual harassment thought beneath my face when he did that. That was my mentality. I'm going to tell, because it looks like you're trying to expose your crotch to me and you think I like it. I'm supposed to like your crotch in the air. But like I said, so this is the experiences I'm getting now. And then right there was a man parked with his tinted windows and bright ass car lights. Tinted windows and bright car lights. And it's like, so every time I see some lesson or some out of place routine experience, I also see people, whenever I see that, look at this, jiggling breasts, and then she's looking away like I'm supposed to be upset. So, looking away, she's jiggling her breasts and then looking away like she's ashamed that I stared at her breasts that were jiggling. She's not wearing a bra, and then she jiggled her breasts while she was walking. or her breasts were jiggling while she was walking. And then she looked away as if it was shameful. It's a shameful act. Wait, what do you call that? What's a shameful act? Like it's I'm she's shameful or I'm shameful. What do you call that when you do something and you prove to yourself that wait, someone is using implants to stop me from explaining myself, but the woman back there did something and then she acted like I'm supposed to be ashamed of she's supposed to be it proved something. She proved a point. Oh, that's someone just used technology to tell me that the word you're looking for is that she proved a point. That if she jiggled her breast, you would look at her breast, or, well, you would be looking at her breast, but you jiggled your breast, and that brings attention to your breast. So if you're trying to prove a point that I was going to stare at your breast, then the reality is you moved your breast. And that's what made somebody look at your breast. But anyways, so these people are trying to get me to constantly think about sex, constantly, like get me into a pattern of seeing people's crotches. And if you get into a pattern of seeing people's crotches, maybe you'll start looking at people's crotches all by yourself without us presenting our crotches to you. You will start looking for crotches all on your own. And all we have to do is make sure at the right moment you see a crotch routinely. So if you can see someone's crotch routinely, then you will if you can see someone's crotch routinely, then you will start looking at crotches out of routine, on your own command. So I think that's annoying. I think coming here and parking and looking to my left as I get out of the car and seeing somebody's legs wide open is an irritation. That's irritation, and it just started happening when I started parking here. They just told me to remind me. These people want me to stop parking here. So this group of people want me to stop parking here because if I park back in my parking spot, as I leave my parking location, like the parking spot I used to park in, there are so many ways that people can shine very bright lights into your eyes at the right time, where as they pass you, the lights are brighter. And it's a level irritation. So someone is trying to give me a bad experiences here. So I go back over there and have the old experiences I used to have, so that I would go back onto the other side of the building and have the bad experiences where people are turning their vehicles or shining very bright lights into your eyes on the other side of the building, on the other side of this building. So for years they were doing that, perfectly timing when I would walk towards my car, walk towards the sidewalk, walk towards something else, that there's a bright light shining in my eyes. And you use implants. You use implants to make sure that one person you want to have lights in their eyes, lights shine in their eyes, that one person you want to always have lights shine in their eyes, you can do it if you have implants. So if you put an implant in that one person, you can constantly make sure that there are lights, know where they are and when they're going to be there. And even use technology to encourage them to walk outside their apartment. And when you do, you can tell a random person, probably one of hundreds, one out of 10 people who support your culture, support your psychological pursuit to get someone irritated and sexually who also has a sexual program beneath the light harassment to constantly remind them of sex. The community that is using lights to harass somebody is the same community using sexual imagery to harass somebody. So to keep somebody thinking about sex and keep somebody away from forgetting, not acknowledging that sex is a part of life. So the gay community. So the gay community found a way to use lights to harass people and use sexual imagery to harass people as well. And they put these two things together and they hope that both irritations, both unwanted things leads to aggression, leads to some form of frustration. And if it leads to frustration, hopefully it's violent in nature or possibly sexual in nature. But you can stalk somebody, harass somebody, and use implants and technology to make sure they are psychologically bothered or irritated or angry or not angry. I'm not angry, but I'm telling. So it doesn't work. The moment that they use lights to harass me, or the moment that I see sexual harassment or somebody with the legs open, I want to tell. But as you can see, it takes 10 minutes for me to tell you something it should take 1 minute to say. But with implants, I can't speak. I can't speak like I used to. I can't speak well enough to tell you in 1 minute what it just took me 10 minutes to tell you. That's what implants can do. They can take your memory. So you're fighting to speak. You're fighting to tell people what you want to say. And the gay community use terrorism, the news, to scare people into not fighting back, to scare people into not telling, to make you afraid to not have sex with gay people, or something bad will happen to you. That's what they use. They use terrorism, some form of terrorism, tinted windows, ghetto black people, aggressive driving, police officers, all forms of all these things put together make someone afraid, puts people in fear. And then once you're afraid, you start to listen or do whatever the associated images that people keep presenting to you leads you to think you should do. But I've been telling, and somebody is stopping me from getting help from the public by blocking my YouTube account because they think the gay community is endangered. But those people are using their endangered status, that history they created, to stop somebody from going after them for harassment, sexual harassment, implants, torture, implants, felony charges. They stop gay people from being targeted for felonies because they think if they get caught, people will hurt them. But that's not true. We have prisons for all sorts of people. Gay people can be in those prisons as well, and they won't be hurt worse than anybody else. But those are my experiences. That's what's happening everywhere I go.